Hi everybody, this is Gary Fong, and in this video I'm going to be showing you the stills from the sequences that I showed yesterday from Big White Ski Resort. Now, to review, what I did was I shot a bunch of skiers coming down the hill to show the capabilities of the A6000, the high-speed continuous focusing and the tracking. And I got a number of comments below it saying, well, it'd be nice to be able to see those images, so here are the images. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to basically go through some of the sequences here, and then we'll show you the images. So first I'll show you the high-speed sequence. So let's go to this one here. And let's go ahead and let the scene fire. Okay, so that was a lot of images. Let's go back here and take a look at the images that we took. On the left side, these are all just JPEGs that are not touched by any image processing. This is straight out of the camera. I wanted to show you the high rate of focus accuracy. And this one's fairly simple. It gets a little bit complicated here because there's a sign, but it's, tracking one skier, and it does a really nice job with tracking. But let's find a few more complicated scenarios. Well, actually, right there, the skier went off the center. But let's find this sequence right here. So we'll just go ahead and find that skier. Okay, so I'll just go ahead, and you can see the tracking is on right now. And then there's the first shot. So let's listen to it. Okay, so we'll go back to the image review and let's take a look at these. There's that guy, and he's going across. There's other skiers going across, and this person's nicely in focus. What I like about this is that you can see the goggles and how sharp they are in focus. Okay, so that is that, and really like that. You can actually see the lettering on the helmet. On the A6000. So here we go. It's going to go by. Now that was a lot of images also. Let's take a look at the actual stills that came from that, and here is that guy. So again, focus tracking, high rate of speed. This is action photography. This is how you get that impact of the one person. You can still do a still on any of these, and these are very dramatic images. And you can see right here that there's other skiers kind of crossing in and out and everything like that. And this person is just still completely tracked. And let's go in tight here also, and you can see how nicely this focuses. And the goggles, you can see the goggles there, and we'll just keep going. Okay, so, and then now he goes off the frame right there, and so that's the end of that. But again, he was going so fast that I couldn't even frame him. But there's, you can see it says Belay on his goggles. Okay, so let's go to another sequence, and this one's a nice one. So, okay, so see, he's going in and out, the signs. Bang. Now we're getting into a little bit more complicated situations because this skier went through the trees, and the trees are very, very high in contrast. So now we're getting into a little bit more of a complex situation because the skier is going through the trees. And the trees and this type of fence, this orange fencing in the background, can be very confusing to autofocus because it's high contrast. And autofocus wants to find high contrast items in the shot. But you can see right here, even though the skier is off center and going across all of these high contrast situations like poles and trees and everything like that, we're still very much in focus only on the skier itself. Now I'll just come in tight again so you can see how the focus is. And look at that. We can see even the pattern on the jacket and all of that. Somebody in one of the comments said, oh, it's a f4 lens and therefore there's going to be a lot of depth of field. Not on a 300 millimeter equivalent. This is a 200 millimeter lens shot at f4, and that would really not give you a lot of depth of field. But look at this, the boot and everything. Okay, so um, quite remarkable.
Hello. This guy. It's like a Uzi fire.
Okay, let's look at that sequence. So now we're doing a lot of off-center things. We're doing a lot of crossing in front of skiers and things like that, and yet it tracks the one person very, very nicely. Again, I'm going to go in very tight, and we'll just see how we're doing on the focus. And look at the sharpness here. You can actually see the writing, these little spider patterns, and all that. And again, there is not a lot of depth of field here because you can see that this is kind of blurry and out of focus, and yet the helmet is very, very crisp and sharp. In fact, probably get in tight enough to read. Oh yeah, we can actually see. I mean, we can, recognize that helmet. This is 21 megapixel roughly image. You can actually see the frost on the little muffler there. Okay, so as we go across here, that is the sequence, going and tracking. This is kind of neat because you can see there's another person, but it didn't hang on to that person, hung on to my skier. Skier goes off frame, and that's that. Now, this one here, let's find this sequence.
Let's find someone really fast. Him. Okay. Wow, going in and out of trees. Where'd he go?
Okay, let's look at that sequence. Now, this sequence is quite something because the skier goes into the trees. Now, talk about a complicated situation. We're going right through the trees, and yet it tracks, and the skier is now going behind this pole, comes out of the pole again, and let's go in really tight here and see how we did with just the skier. So see, the skier's in focus, but the tree is not. It's hanging on to the skier because this is the object that we originally chose. Coming out now through the trees, completely off center, inside the trees again. Let's go ahead and come in tight here to see how we did. And I'll just go ahead and move over. So there's the skier coming out of the trees. Now look at all of the stuff in front. This is autofocus technology that you can only get through mirrorless because mirrorless has this phase detection autofocus, which is the fastest type of focus sensor, faster than contrast sensing. And on the a6000, these phase detection autofocus points cross a majority of the sensor, almost the complete width of the sensor. So once it hangs on to a pattern, it's just going to hang on, through any type of stuff. Okay, so we lost a couple there, but let's take a look tight here. That's not good. Now he goes in behind the trees. Where is he? Where is he? The camera wonders. But then when he peeks out again, I'm just basically trying to find him. And then there he goes, popping through the trees. Pretty remarkable. And this is something that you can't do with the human eye and the hand. By the time you respond, you've basically lost the shot. And with contrast detection points, like most cameras have, it has to hit the edge contrast sharpness, go slightly past, and return. You've seen this sometimes before in your slower focusing camera, where it goes zip zip. And what it's doing is it's trying to find the focus, the edge contrast, and then it's trying to return. Phase detection autofocus is on the sensor bed and extremely fast and responsive.
And make it not let go. Now here's 11 frames per second.
Okay, so let's look at that sequence and the stills from that. Okay, so where is that? This blue guy right here. Coming down, going across, completely off center here. That's what I like about this. Look at all those orange things. They just want to suck up the autofocus because autofocus is constantly looking for contrast points. But in this situation here, hangs on to our skier, our snowboarder. Okay, so again, off center. Look at the high rate of accuracy. Like, all of these stills way off center here, and yet the subject is in typed focus, way off to the edge, and the subject is in focus. Going through high contrast snow on leaves and still hanging on.
Yay! How cool.
That was a nice sequence. Let's look at our little junior champion here as he goes across the sign, and we're still hanging on to just that one person off center. And now let's come in really tight here and see how our focus is. So focused that we can almost read the name on the tag. But you can see here we've got really, really nice focusing accuracy off center, and yet still, I'll come in tight, still very, very crisp. That kid was moving, and I can actually see this little lettering that is up on there. Ski the face, blah blah blah, whatever. Even on the tag here, I almost wonder if we could scan that barcode and get through the gates. But anyway, so that's that. And again, off center. But what a great action shot. The thing about action shot is you want to capture the moment. When you're shooting at a high rate of speed like this, there's so many to choose from, right? And that's fun. And again, there's no way the human eye to hand to any of that would have been able to accomplish this type of sequence. In fact, it goes by so fast that I can't even keep this little skier framed, but completely off center here, and we'll just go in super tight so you can see how nice the focus is.
See how people are crossing in front and out, and we're just banging away. There.
Okay, and then just continue.
And going right in.
Okay, so let's take a look at that sequence right there. Boom, 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 boom. People crossing in front, out of focus because we're tracking the skier, who then goes off center, quite a bit, like right there. Pretty much off center. The sign, nice contrasty thing, goes behind the sign, still hanging on to the skier. And then continues going through all of this stuff. And let's go in tight, see how we're doing on the focus, and look at the impact of this. You can actually see this is a girl, and you can see her face, her eyes, and you can see the fabric on the muffler, and very, very nice detail. Look at this. Again, do you remember how fast we were going by, and do you remember how fast she was going and how fast the sequence was firing? And yet I'm able to get a still like this, quite a dynamic still image, crossing in front of another skier, and just a remarkable performance. So that is the stills from those sequences, and sorry that I didn't put it up there in the other video, and I should have done that and made this a longer video, but this one's a continuation of that. Okay, so thanks for watching. For the ultimate in training on the remarkable little Sony a6000 camera, the $600 camera, 21 megapixel or whatever it is, with all these autofocus points, be sure to visit us at sonya6000.com, and also don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, because we've got all kinds of really cool content like this. And remember, the subscribers get first crack at the content. Thanks for watching. Bye.